preparing the student to participate in transition planning.
One of the things that I think is really important is finding out what it is that a student really wants. And one of the best ways to do that is to involve them in the planning process and ask them those questions. And for the students who have the language capabilities to be able to take part and answer questions on their own, that's the best source of information that you can get. But one of the things that I found is a lot of times the students may not have had the opportunity to really understand what goes into making a decision, and as a consequence, this shows up when we talk to them about it.
We now hear from Sandy Mack, the mother of a 19-year-old young man with Charge syndrome. Sandy's son has been a student at Perkins since 2002. She describes how her son's vocational preferences were shaped by his experiences at home.
He started to do vocational programs at school in a very fun way. Seat weaving, he did canine cooking, and that's when I think the teachers really understood that he really does do some of this at home, because he, I think, was a natural in making doggy biscuits. He worked in a horticultural program at Perkins, and that I didn't understand then, but now understand, was the beginning of them measuring what he could do.
We see two photographs of Sandy's son, who is deaf-blind and wears bilateral hearing aids. He is shown participating in different vocational activities. In one, he restocks sugar and other supplies in a hospital cafeteria. In the other, he is shown working alongside a Perkins classmate who is also deaf-blind at a local plant nursery. The boys are preparing pine cones to be assembled into holiday wreaths by wrapping a length of wire around them.
I think a lot of times people give students opportunities to make choices, but the choices that they give them are things like, do you want to wear the red one or the green one? Or would you rather have pudding or applesauce? And those are more like impulses than decisions. And so I think that one of the things that's true is that many students make it up to that point in their life when they're about to embark on their life's journey, never having made a decision and not even understanding what goes into making a decision. So I think one of the things that's important for families of kids of all ages is that they start helping the students understand what it means to take responsibility for something and to make a decision, and what all you have to think about when you make a decision. Think about how it affects you. Think about how it affects you now, and think about how it affects you in the future. Think about what resources are needed in order to make that happen. Think about how your decision affects other people. Those are the things that I think a lot of times all happen behind closed doors as far as the families go, and they don't bring the students into understanding even what family decisions are made. You know, what are we going to get at the grocery store to stock the pantry with? Well, we need to know what you think, and we also need to know what your siblings think and what your dad thinks, and sort that all out and help the student understand the whole thing of like, oh, I guess I need to think about somebody besides myself. I need that decisions are going on all around me all the time. What do people think about when in order to make a decision? And I think that families can assist students in understanding that.
Again, we hear from Sandy. She describes how involving her son in household activities has developed competencies in tasks that he now enjoys. Those competencies are something she considers when a transition plan is discussed.
What I found is that if you have a passion, my passion is cooking, my husband's passion is woodworking. And you're sharing that passion naturally with your child, like we do. So my son is constantly cooking with me, and he's constantly down in the garage with my husband.
We see a page from John's vocational portfolio. On the page are two pictures of John preparing and then mixing the ingredients for dog biscuits. The text on the page describes John's competencies and responsibilities.
Out of that comes a natural hobby, if you will, or talent or skill set. I don't know how you would describe it, but if it's fun for you and your child wants to be with you, it naturally becomes fun for them. And then together you're doing something. And I think that if you can think that sort of longer into transition, it also says, okay, well, when we're thinking about things for John to do, well, he really does well unscrewing bolts and things like that, because he's learned it all with my husband in the garage.
Once they reach adulthood, the students, you know, the more independence they have, the more dignity they have, the more social context they have, are all going to be based on their ability to say, here's how I fit into the big scheme of things. One that I've the analogy I've been using lately has to do with the Wizard of Oz. You know, where when the wizard is there and Dorothy and her friends first show up, and he's big and he's scary. It's all very mysterious. But at one point, Toto runs over and pulls the curtain back, and they go, "Oh, it's not so mysterious after all." And I think that the students need to have that process, need to be assisted in making that process of pulling the curtain back and say, "I understand what's going on here, so maybe I can do it down the road." But I think the sheltering makes everything seem like it's behind this cloud of mystery for them.
Fade to black.